Omaha, there's one great place to keep track of it all, Metro Quarterly.
If you've opened the November issue, you saw a piece about a man on an interesting journey. The project's called A Couple of 830-Mile-Long Conversations.
Stuart Chittenden is here alongside Metro Quarterly publisher Andee Hoig. Good
Hi,
morning.
it's nice to have you back. Nice to have you here, Stuart.
It's a good week. Getting ready to head into the holidays, right? You guys have big Thanksgiving plans?
We do.
Well, because we should say the reason we would ask you together isn't just because you wrote about Stuart in this piece, but you knew about his story because
Stuart is my step-brother-in-law. But I guess I could just call him my brother.
He's
You're
family.
related, and
Yes.
you guys are
Family.
close
Yes.
too. Yeah, he's family. Stuart, tell us about this trip, this journey that you took.
Well, it took place over a 4-week period between August 10th and Labor Day weekend, and basically I just rented an RV and drove 1,902 miles around the state, traveling through small towns, meeting different people and engaging them in conversation.
Stuart, why? Why? And how did this idea come up?
Well, it would be so interesting just to say, why not? I think people should do this, but I can trace it back maybe 3 decades. The seeds of this were rooted in reading Travels with Charlie by Steinbeck, and fast forward 30 years, all of a sudden I find myself in Nebraska and wanting to explore a state I now call home. And I have this belief that conversation is a very powerful tool in our lives, and I wanted to find out about how people use it.
Give us one highlight.
Wow, one, that's way too tough. So I'll give you 2. I'll talk about the landscape very quickly. The landscape is really subtly sublime. And I knew it would be beautiful, but that really surprised me. And then I was also stunned and amazed at how welcoming people were, but how much people wanted to share. They wanted to have voice. And there were some fascinating people I met.
And especially for you, you're an ex-Brit is how you're described. And then I imagine when you come to some of these small towns, they notice the accent, and that intrigues them a little bit. And in this picture you have, it says, "Hello, please sit and chat with me." You put that on a table. Did you do that everywhere you went? And what were some of the stories you got?
Mostly I did that everywhere I went, but the original plan was to set up a public space, in a public space, and have that sign and have an empty chair. But I soon discovered, of course, that finding public spaces was not necessarily as easy as I thought. So I would sometimes have to intrude upon the old timers in the coffee shop, or sometimes I get waved down by someone in the street, and we would just engage in those conversations in that environment.
What's next for you then? I mean, this is it, or do you plan to have a second chapter?
Wow, I don't know. I would love to do something similar in Omaha and compare and contrast those stories. I've been doing some community events and delivering presentations based on this, and the next one's January the 8th at Omaha Public Library downtown.
And you'll share some of the stories? One story from one person. What stood out? What was most memorable?
I'll share one that with a lady in Broken Bow who refused to be recorded, and she went home to get a photograph and to show me this photograph. She came back with a box, and 3.5 hours we sat there and went through every single item in that box. And at one point she pointed at one of the photos and said, "I remember." And she looked me in the eye and said, "Perhaps it's a good thing you're here." It was just magical.
Wow. But there was one photograph that was so important to her that she left and came back. What was that photograph?
It was a photo of her barn, but I think it was just a ruse for her to be able to come back with a box.
But I think, too, it says something about the hunger to talk and to tell stories and to connect one human being to another, even if you were strangers prior to that.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I mean, that's something beautiful, isn't it?
Thanks for sharing your story. And
Andee?
again, people are going to be able to talk to you and learn more about your stories.
By the way, if you're looking, we have the physical copies here, but you can also go to spiritofomaha.com and look at the online edition here. And if you are scrolling through, Stuart's stories is on page 26, 27 in that neighborhood. Voting's open now.
Yes.
For the Big Connection.
Yep, so go online, vote for your favorite charity events. It's going to go on through the 12th of December, so just be mindful of that, the $10,000 Big Connection.
And we've got 12 organizations that are vying for that?
Yes, yep, 12 nonprofits, so it's exciting times. And right now they're all getting their essays too into us.
Yeah, you're going to narrow that down, and one nonprofit's going to win that $10,000 grand prize. What's on your top 5 events list?
Top 5, we'll go through this real quick. Jocelyn Castle Turkey Trot coming up on Thanksgiving.
Yes,
what a great way to start off Thanksgiving. And then also the Jocelyn Castle, they're having a holiday tour on December 3rd and 4th. Omaha Home for the Boys, Home for the Holidays on the December 3rd as well. And then December 5th, Nebraska AIDS Project, Night of 1,000 Stars, a really great event. And wrapping up with the Jingle Bell Run Walk for the Arthritis Foundation Nebraska on the 12th.
And they were here last week talking about that event.
Yeah.
It's an award winner for theme, where people get dressed up and come out and enjoy
yeah.
it. And you know, it's just it was so cool, the guests who were on and the way they explained the Arthritis Foundation mission, and
Yeah.
it's good stuff.
Yeah, the keyword, nutcracker.
Nutcracker. We're giving away 2 tickets to, there you go.
say, like, there's
Nut
not a
keyword.
test.
Let's get right to this. The nutcracker.
What are we winning?
We're giving away 2 tickets to the evening performance on December 5th of Ballet Nebraska's Nutcracker. And I'm going on the 5th. I can't wait. I can't remember the last time I actually went and saw this at the Orpheum. So this is going to be just
Are you
awesome.
into the ballet, or is this a new
No,
experience
I
for
like
you?
ballet.
You
I
like
was
ballet?
a ballerina when I was a child. I'd
Were
like
ya?
you to know. Yeah,
Oh.
I was.
So now your keyword makes sense.
Nutcracker. You only Wednesday, end of day Wednesday is it. So
And again,
Enter.
Ballet Nebraska, they've got a couple of performances. They have Iowa Western, but the tickets you're giving away are for the Orpheum performance
Yes.
when they come back to Omaha to perform there.
Yeah.
And to
Keyword.
register for that, spiritofomaha.com.
Keyword nutcracker.
Thank you.
I like the backing
Nutcracker.
of things. I
Yeah.
like the backing of
So
things,
start at
Andy.
the end
And then,
You got
and
it.
then move forward.
Bring
We
it
got
home.
you there.
You're weird that way.
Thank you, Andy.
Thanks,
and
Andy.
others. That's not the only
Well,
way.
that's the tip of the
Thank you,
iceberg.
Andy. And
hey,
Stuart.
Stuart, thanks a lot.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
You
for
are
your
such a
story.
cool guy.
Thank you.
Cool.
All right, look.